Welcome to Don't Do Disney
Without Us.
My name is Daniel.
And my name is Zach.
And welcome back to our show. It's a little show we like to do every week where we talk about all things Disney. Disney movies, Disney parks, Disney television, both ABC, Disney Plus, anything they have their hands in, except for the sports.
Because who cares?
Also,
I mean, not us. Some of you might care, just not us.
Sorry. It's also the show where I never get my mic stand to the right place before we start recording. So you get the extra added treat of hearing me adjust my mic stand. So it's the kind of service we like to deliver here on our award-winning podcast, Don't Do Disney Without Us.
What awards have we won exactly?
The Daniel Brewer Award of Podcasting Excellence. Especially editing. Anyway.
Sure, Jan.
Welcome back. We have had a week here, haven't we?
Yeah.
We went and experienced, you know what? I always forget to do this other thing too.
Folks, podcasting is hard.
Yeah, podcasting isn't hard because I do podcasting all the time. Podcasting on video is hard because there's another layer to it, and you have to remember to look up there to the camera, and you have to pay attention to where you're at. You know,
I sometimes worry, with our YouTube videos, I'm used to looking at the camera, but here I'm trying to read things and look at the camera, and then also make sure I'm just not staring at the camera dead-eyed.
Okay. Now I'm concerned. I'm staring at the camera dead-eyed.
You're fine.
Anyway, we had a week this week. We went over to Disney on Wednesday evening, over to Epcot, the experimental prototype community of tomorrow, in order to experience an attraction that is not yet open. We went on Guardians of the Galaxy's Galactic Rewind. Another
Cosmic Rewind.
Damn it! Another mouthful of an attraction,
but. We'll talk about that later in our heroes and villains.
We will, but yeah, we went over and did that. We went had our first dinner at Toledo Terrace right after that. So yeah, we've had and we've been feverishly trying to get all packed up and ready to go on our cruise, which we will be leaving for this week, and we will be on our cruise ship all next week. So
yes, our podcast next week will be audio only because we'll have vlogging cameras with us, but
we might put video. I don't know. It all depends on how.
Well, it depends on how we feel.
All depends on how much the laptop is going to choke on video processing and how much bandwidth we have on our internet package. We don't have a bandwidth cap. Just how
slow and or reliable it's going to be.
Can we upload a several gigabyte video file? We'll see. Anyway. All of that being said, let's just get right into the main topic for this week. And we've decided to do what we'd like to call, we didn't come up with the term. It's been around forever. We're going to do, this is an evergreen week. There was no massive, big thing happening at Disney this week that we wanted to talk about. Nothing that really affected us in a way that we would have something to add to the commentary on that. So we thought... it would be interesting to do an episode about the top 5 table service restaurants at Walt Disney World. And this comes from us being in a Skyliner with another couple who, once they realized that we were local, started asking those kind of questions. Like, we're going to eat dinner here and we have dinner reservations tomorrow. What do you suggest restaurant-wise? And... if you come down to Walt Disney World for a couple of week vacation, you're going to eat at 4 or 5 restaurants.
Right. You may not eat at every single restaurant you want to eat at, but there's over 100 restaurants on Disney property, and
there are over 200 restaurants on Disney property. There are over 100 table service restaurants.
I was getting my numbers confused.
Right. So we are going to talk about tonight our top 5 table service restaurants. This does not mean, by the way, that other restaurants are not good. Just because it's not on the list doesn't mean it's not good. We each did 5, and there are no overlaps. There could have been, but we picked around.
There are overlaps, but just because something is not in my top 5 and it is in Daniel's top 5 does not mean that I don't also enjoy that particular restaurant.
Okay.
These were just the 5 that I came up with off the top of my head.
Now, I didn't ask for them in any specific order. But I do definitely off my list, I do have a number 1.
Okay.
So I don't know if off your list you have a number one or not. If you do it last. But what is in no particular order other than not your number one? What is your fifth restaurant?
And this is, again, this doesn't mean that I like this the least. It just happens to be the one that I'm staring at right now.
Yes.
Sanaa
Okay.
at Animal Kingdom Lodge, Kidani Village.
Okay.
Has one of the most amazing bread services on property. And yes, we are dirty keto, but, Disney days can be cheat days if we want them to be. And the bread service at Sanaa is amazing. The food itself, even with the slimmed down menu they've had since COVID reopening, is very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
It's African inspired, but there's something for basically every palate there, which I can't necessarily say about Jico.
Mm-hmm.
There are some things at Jico that I think picky eaters wouldn't like. I'm pretty sure everybody can find something at Sanaa. And it's also one of, if not the only restaurants on property where you can actually see animals while you're dining. Now that I say that, you can see animals at the seas at Coral Reef.
Yes.
But
we haven't eaten there.
no, we haven't.
Oh, by the way, a huge caveat I should have started off top. These are restaurants we've eaten at. There are still restaurants on property we haven't eaten.
There's a whole list of restaurants that we have yet to eat at that we want to eat at.
Okay.
But yeah, you can see the animals on the savannah at Animal Kingdom Lodge from Sanaa.
Okay. So there you go. Your number five, not necessarily your number five, was Sanaa. I'm going to say my number five, not necessarily my number five, is the La Hacienda
De San Angel.
de San Angel. This is the outdoor Mexican restaurant at Epcot. So, and by outdoor, I mean the one that's across the street from the Mexican Pavilion, not the one that is inside the Mexican Pavilion.
You still eat indoors.
Yes.
The actual
yes,
outdoor is La Cantina de San Angel, which is the quick service.
Right. No, the cantina is quick services outside.
That's
The
what
one-
I just said.
The one inside is not. What is that one called?
That's
It's not the Hacienda.
San
it's
Angel
the it's the inn. Okay. However, the La Hacienda, the one that's on the water, it's on the World Showcase Lagoon. It is really it's not a signature restaurant. It's not anything necessarily special about the restaurant, other than the food is consistently really, really good. They have a margarita there that I really, really like. That's their in-house margarita. I think they also have a drink that Neil Patrick Harris made for them.
Yes, they have the Black Magic, which was their first and has since migrated to La Cava del Tequila. It may actually be served in both places. My only caveat with that is it's a pricey drink.
Yeah, but it is, as far as restaurants in theme parks go, it's consistently good, and it's not something that you, especially if you have people that are picky in any way, shape, or form. It's Mexican food. There's something there. They can eat.
And it's not like just gussied up Mexican food. It's actually really good Mexican food.
Yeah. All right, number 4 for you.
Grand Floridian Cafe.
We go there to park.
We do largely go there to park, but it also has one of the best brunches on property that isn't something you have to scramble to get.
Yeah.
Scramble because they have eggs.
Scramble, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it is very difficult to get a brunch reservation at California Grill, which is...
They're not even doing brunch right now, I don't think.
But the Grand Floridian Cafe does brunch every day. It is... it's very good. I've had the French toast from that. I've had the...
You've had the Benedict Trio.
Benedict
I've had the
Trio
chicken
before.
and waffles.
Yeah, everything I've had at Grand Floridian Cafe has been delicious.
It's very good. It's very affordable. And you can park there and then walk to the Magic Kingdom.
That's right. With the new walkway, you can just walk right to the Magic Kingdom, which is, instead of ticket and transportation center and then transportation, it's just an easy thing to do. Okay. My number 4 off my list, again, in no particular order other than number 1, is going to be Toledo. Toledo is on the 16th floor of the Grand Destino Tower at Coronado Springs Resort. Wow, those are a lot of random words there that sound like other words. So it's like, wait, no, it's not Disney Springs. It's Coronado Springs. Anyway, Toledo is top. It is a signature restaurant quality food without it being a signature restaurant price point. So it's more in line with like the La Hacienda price wise, but the food is more, equivalent to a higher end restaurant. We've never had anything bad there.
No.
Food wise. The
No.
atmosphere is great. It's gorgeous.
The views are great.
You can see you can see all 4 theme parks, but you can see the fireworks from the 3 that do fireworks at night up from there. There's also adjacent to it is the Dahlia Lounge, which is also on the 16th floor and has an outside balcony it's very lovely. So it's just a great place to hang out. It's usually not packed. The Dahlia is usually not packed, so it's a nice place to go.
It can get crowded up there.
It can.
It can get really crowded up there.
But usually not.
I would like... This is one of the places where I feel like the slimming down of the menu due to COVID and worldwide supply chain issues has impacted the restaurant, because you used to have so many more choices.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Because it's a tapas restaurant, so you used to be able to just mix and match from like 12 or 13 different small plates to the point where you can get out of there for under $100 if you try hard enough and still leave feeling full.
All right, we need to move on. Your number 3 restaurant.
Le Celier at Epcot.
Oh, yes.
It is a signature restaurant, so you're going to go in knowing you are going to spend probably close to $200.
Yep.
But every single time we've been there and spent $200 to $250, it has been incredibly worth it.
Yeah, it is definitely a destination restaurant, like a date restaurant or a special occasion restaurant. It's also incredibly tiny, so it's a very difficult reservation to get.
Yes, that is my biggest issue with Le Celier is it's not impossible to get a reservation at, but it's really tiny, so you're kind of on top of one another. Mm-hmm. The best time apparently to eat at Le Celier was right after reopening, when they had social distancing in, so that tables were more spread out, so you didn't feel like you were sitting right next to Bob and Tim from Alaska.
All right. My number 3 restaurant is Ohana, Polynesian Resort, a good solid choice. It is a all you care to eat experience, but the restaurant is very lovely. It's Polynesian themed. You can get Polynesian drinks there. The food I really, really like, especially since we're keto. A lot of the food is protein, right? It's beef and pork and shrimp, all you care to eat. And you can see the enchantment fireworks from the restaurant, if you so choose.
We have not had Ohana since they reopened and very briefly took the noodles off the menu, have we?
Ohana is another very difficult reservation to get. So, no, we have not eaten there in quite a while. Who's your number 2?
Steakhouse 71, which is probably it's the second newest on this list. Mm-hmm. Very good. Also within walking distance of the Magic Kingdom. The steaks there aren't as good as some of the other signature quality places on property, but they're good and they're less expensive. Mm-hmm. So you still get a good cut of steak without paying $50 or $60 for it. Mm-hmm. The burger at lunch it's
very good.
Was very good. Mm-hmm. I don't know that I'd go so far as saying it's the best burger on property, but it's one of the best burgers on property.
It's the only smash burger on property,
right?
Which if you like smash burgers, that's your place to go.
And it seems to be a relatively easy reservation to get.
It is. Also, again, parking trick. You can park. If you have a reservation to eat at Steakhouse 71, you can park at the Contemporary, which is another very short walk to the Magic Kingdom. Okay, my number 2 is Tiffin's at Animal Kingdom. This is the signature restaurant at Animal Kingdom. We've eaten there several times. It is some of the best steak on property, in my experience. It's also, they have a great wine selection there. All of their wines come from Africa. It is they have like a wine flight there that you could do, both red and white, that will expose you to some wines that you may not normally get from Africa. It's a lovely restaurant. It's got all kind of stuff up on the walls that the Imagineers had while they were building.
The Animal Kingdom history in the restaurant is definitely has some points added to the non-existent score.
Yeah, but great food. All right. Zach, who is your absolute number one restaurant as of today? Because these things can always change. But as of today, what is your number one restaurant to eat at on Walt Disney World property?
It is a restaurant that we have been to exactly once, and I keep trying to get us into and failing. It is Space 220 at Epcot.
Oh, I'm going to call a foul there. That's not actually on property. It's 220 miles above the Earth. So it's not technically on property. It's in space.
Look, Disney's airspace goes that high. Prefix, second most expensive prefix on property, but worth every single penny. The one meal we've had there was good enough to make me want to go back, to try it again, to try different things, to try the flight bites at the bar. The atmosphere, while, there are no windows, it's just screens, is, immersive and fun. The service that we had was good. The day that we got in, the cast member that let us in was incredibly polite. Epcot has no shortage of very good restaurants, and this just keeps adding to that. So I just really wish it was easier to get into and you didn't just have to try and get lucky with a walk-up.
A recurring theme. All right. My number one restaurant to eat at on property is Jico at Animal Kingdom Lodge. This is at the Jumbo House. The thing that I love about Jico is there are, different kind of African-inspired dishes on their menu, but Jico has the feeling of being in a signature restaurant that you don't necessarily get from other restaurants. And even though it is the signature restaurant at Animal Kingdom Lodge, it isn't as pricey as California Grill, or, let's say Citrico's or something like that. But they have great food. And as to give you an example, when you come into Jico and get sat down, they bring hot towels to you, which is something they don't do in any of the other signature restaurants that we've been to. Like, they bring you hot towels. They also, all of the towels in the bathroom are like embroidered with the Jico logos and stuff. It feels like a high-end restaurant. Like, it feels like, oh, this is a restaurant that I would take a date to, right? Or something that I would go, like high school graduation or something, college graduation. Something like, what I'm saying? Like one of those, oh, this is the hoity-toity restaurant. But the food is really good. And I just can't say enough good things about Jico.
And it's hoity-toity without being Victorian Albert's hoity-toity, where it's like super expensive and you need a suit.
Yeah, it is pricey, but it's not the priciest restaurant on property. No. You could get out of there with drinks for under $200 for two people. So, all right, there you go. Those are our top 5 table service restaurants, each one of us. If you feel that we have missed something off that list and that we're crazy for not having X on our top 5, leave it below on the comments if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're listening audio, send us an email, don'tdodisney@gmail.com. Let us know what your favorite table service restaurant is. It may be on the list of the ones that we haven't yet tried. So,
and there are surprisingly a lot of them.
There are. All right, let's get to the news for the week. Number 1, showtimes and pricing for the soon-to-return with a few script updates Hoop-Dee-Doo musical review have been revealed. You wrote that sentence just hoping that I was going to read it cold. The show will be performed 3 times nightly at 4, 6:15, and 8:30 p.m. It's a 2-hour show that includes all you care to enjoy food and unlimited beer, wine, sangria, or soft drinks or tea. We've not been to the Howdy-Do review.
We have not.
Yeah. Prices have not changed since before the pandemic. So they are, $74 for main floor seating, $69 for balcony seating, and $66 for side balcony seating. Those are the adult prices. The kids are a little bit cheaper. But what do you have, number 2?
I was surprised. I did not know this as well. All prices for Hoop-Dee-Doo include tax and gratuity.
Oh, wow.
Reservations open May 26th. The show is set to return June 23rd.
June 23rd. Get ready for the Howdy-Do review to come back.
Starting May 31st, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure at Epcot will move from being an individual Lightning Lane selection to being included in Disney Genie Plus, where it will remain until August 7th.
Yes.
Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind will be the only individual Lightning Lane attraction at Epcot from May 31st through August 6th.
Okay.
Right now, it's Frozen Ever After and Remy's.
Yep.
For 4 very brief days, right when Guardians opens, it will be Remy's, Frozen, and Guardians. And then starting on the 31st, just Guardians.
Just Guardians. So both Frozen and Ratatouille.
Yes,
will be
Frozen
going
and
to
Ratatouille are
Genie.
both going to be in Genie Plus.
Number 3, Disney's Celebrate America 4th of July Concert in the Sky will return to the Magic Kingdom on July 3rd and 4th for its first time since 2019. Yeah, we used to go over on July 3rd so that we could see the fireworks. I guess a lot of people knew that, but it wasn't like broadcast a lot of places that they do the full show on July 3rd because they film it, and then that way if there's a weather problem, whatever, on July 4th, they have something already filmed inside the can. What's number 4?
Disney has announced details of the art installation that is going to be at the Hollywood Garage, a view visible from I-4. It will include Mickey, Minnie, the Fab 50 golden statues, and more over time. This new location will include the first ever Walt Disney World Store, which will combine merchandise and ticket sales, as well as the DVC Virtual Discovery Station, which, according to Disney, can transport guests to Disney's theme parks, resorts, and cruise destinations from around the world via first-person virtual tours, photo galleries, and videos.
There you go. They're going to give you a Quest. They're going to give you one of those VR helmets, and you can stand there and I can see the
No,
sunset.
that's what they're doing in the former NBA experience.
I can see the sunset. Okay, number...
Do you have any interest in going to that
I don't know.
iDrive thing? I mean, my biggest problem with it is that it's on iDrive, and iDrive is a pain in the ass.
We're a family show. It's a pain in the tushy.
Excuse me.
I don't know. I'm going to have to wait and see what the reviews on this. It just at least what they have mentioned at the moment doesn't sound like something that I particularly care about. But if for some reason they have like old Walt Disney World merchandise there or something, something like that, maybe, I don't know. I'll have to play it by ear. Starting on June 8th, Genie Plus will only be available to be purchased on a day-by-day basis. Previously, it was available as a ticket add-on for the entire length of stay, and it may be subject to purchase limits during busy times. Now, I saw this as a news story, and I'm just like, who cares? This is all right, so you could pre-buy Genie Plus for your entire length of stay, but you still can't use it until the day of. So all this makes is you buy it day of. And you don't have to wait till 7 a.m. to buy it. You can buy it anytime after midnight for the day of. So
There's been a lot of hullabaloo about the subject to availability, meaning if you're not up at midnight buying it, you might as well just forget about it.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. If that happens, it's going to happen during the times of year when you shouldn't really be wanting to go to Disney anyway, when it's really, really crowded.
Yeah. Also, I mean, it's always had limited availability. They've always had the ability to stop selling Genie Plus, and that has happened very few times since Genie Plus has started. Okay, number 6.
Pirates of the Caribbean, which has been under refurbishment, will reopen July 1st at Disneyland, and their Pirates is better than our Pirates.
Arg. I am 80. It is. It's so weird. If you compare the two Pirates attractions, the Florida ride is larger and has more capacity. The boats are larger. The building is larger. But it only contains half the story. It's just the middle part of the story. So it wasn't until I was in my 30s and first went to Disneyland that I realized that Pirates had a full story. So, number 7, the list of global marketplace food booths has been announced for the 2022 Epcot Food and Wine Festival, which will be running from July 14th to November 9th. There is one new booth, the Fry Basket, where guests can snack on crispy French fries or yucca fries, seasoned to perfection. All other booths are returning from previous festivals, and 5 will be open the second half of the festival on August 15th.
It's running through the 19th, not the 9th of November.
I'm trying to carve out some days that people won't be there. So I'm just telling people it's the 9th. That's number 8.
As previously announced, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind will use a virtual queue.
Yes.
Guests must have a park reservation for Epcot on the day they plan to attempt entry into the queue. Mm-hmm. There are 3 possible queue times. However, one of those has a caveat. There is a 7 a.m. queue, which you can attempt to book from anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
There is a 1 p.m. queue, for which you must be inside Epcot.
Mm-hmm. And then
Is it 1 or 2?
It's 1.
So how do you get it if you have a park hopper?
You can't. This is just like the Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. You have to have an Epcot reservation for either one of those queues, either the 7 a.m. one or the 1 p.m. one. You cannot park hop to get to it. That's what makes the new one so different, is that the new one you can park hop to. So go ahead.
Right. And there is an additional 6 p.m. time slot for a third virtual queue, with the caveat that it is only available on days that extended evening hours are being offered at Epcot, which means you must be staying at a Disney Deluxe resort to get it.
Correct.
This theoretically means that a guest can ride Guardians 3 times if you get into one of the earlier queues, the 6 p.m. queue, and if you purchase it via individual Lightning Lane.
Wow. So 3 times in a single day.
Yes, 3 times in a single day.
All right. The 6 p.m. thing is the game changer, right? Because you could park hop for it. So you didn't have to have an Epcot reservation. If you're staying at a deluxe resort and you went to Magic Kingdom that day and you had either an annual pass or some kind of park hopper ticket, you could just go to Epcot. You don't have to be in the park to join the 6 p.m. queue. So you could be in the Magic Kingdom at 6 p.m. and see whether you will get into Guardians or not before you make the journey over to Epcot. Anyway. All right. Also, just a little tip here: the Swan and Dolphin hotels are considered deluxe hotels, and they're usually cheaper than the other ones if you go through, the Marriott applications. So, sorry, just as an aside there. Number 9, Disney Springs will have a new experience called a Disney Springs Art Walk, a canvas of expression which will feature both local artists and artists from around the globe to create murals that will fill the walls with color, emotion, and the spirit of their cultures. This will be a dynamic, changing experience with new artists throughout the year. The first 4 artists are Lacey Jordan, Chad Mize, Stacey Aoyama, and Eric Tan.
Aoyama.
Okay. No opening date has been announced yet for this experience.
And finally, a preview of Disney Pixar's Lightyear opened on Friday, May 20th at Walt Disney Presents at Disney Hollywood Studios.
Mm-hmm.
Disney's Hollywood Studios. Sneak peeks of the film will also be coming soon to Disneyland Paris and Disney Cruise Line.
Oh, wow. So this is just the sneak peek. This isn't like an early screening of it.
No.
Yeah, it's just an extended trailer kind of a thing, I'm going to guess, right?
Having not been there, I couldn't tell you.
I know Lightyear's coming out like soon, like July, right? It's a summer movie, so it is coming out. I think it is the next Disney film to come out. Speaking of Disney films, we did go see Doctor Strange and the Multiverse. I think we mentioned that last week, though. Yeah, we did. All right. That is the news for the week. Hooray for us. Let's now get into the final piece of the show. We like to pick out something good that happened this week around Disney, something bad that happened this week around Disney. We call those our heroes and villains of the week. This is an even number show, so we're going to start with our heroes. You started last time, so I'll start this time. My hero this week is Rebecca, a cast member at Topolino's Terrace. We ended up arriving at Topolino's Terrace 25 minutes after our dinner reservation time due to some bad transportation choices that we made. And we just were very polite with her and, explained the situation. She was great. She got us seated. There was no problem with it. And so kudos to you. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for getting us seated at Topolino's Terrace.
Right. Put it this way. Yeah. Topolino's Terrace closes technically at 9:30 and we got there at 9:30.
Yeah. But great meal, and we did have a good time. So, who is your hero of the week?
The ability as an annual pass holder to go on previews for things like Guardians and Ratatouille, and I'm assuming other rides that have opened from before when I was not an annual pass holder.
Yeah, and that's like I've been an annual pass holder longer than you because I used to live in Florida, right? And I was an annual pass holder back then. And I don't remember those preview kind of rides back then. So it is kind of cool to have a guaranteed, no matter what, we're going to get to ride Guardians of the Galaxy. We're going to get to ride Ratatouille. We're going to get to ride Tron, probably.
Well, it's not a guarantee. It's a decent shot.
But yeah. Anyway,
we were
it
lucky
is
enough to get one.
Yeah, and it's free, and they also do some evening time pass holder events. That's when I did the first Typhoon Lagoon H2O Glow party was a pass holder event that I got to go to. That was really cool, and then we went back and did the actual event. Anyway, all right. My villain of the week is Florida weather. We have about 6 months of Florida where it is summer. And it kind of kicks in right about this time of year, like mid-May. And as we arrived at Epcot to ride Guardians of the Galaxy, Galactic Rewind, Cosmic Rewind. Sorry. It just started pouring down rain. And of course, we had our umbrellas with us, which kept our torso and our heads dry. But my shoes were soaking wet with the socks.
Of the pant legs.
Yeah, and
the socks.
The socks when you squish around, and we had to get all the way across Epcot and all the way back out.
Does not drain very well at all.
Yeah, there's a big lagoon in the middle. You'd think the water would just run off that way, but
nope, it just sits there.
Anyway, Florida weather, our good old friend Florida weather. And it's ironic, not ironic. That's not the word I'm looking for.
Alanis.
It is. Had this happened just a month from now, I wouldn't have been wearing jeans. Right, I was wearing long pants because the lows that evening were going to be in the 70s. And so to me, as a Floridian, that's too cold for shorts. So, had it just been like a month later and we were doing this and it was pouring down rain, I would have been in shorts and then the pants wouldn't have gotten soaked, which, anyway, I know, first world problems. Who's your villain of the week?
Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind.
Why is that?
Because I suffer from incredibly bad motion sickness.
Yes.
And while I took some Dramamine, we knew that it was going to be a toss-up whether I was going to toss up or not. And while I did not experience the full extent of the coaster because I was trying to keep myself from throwing up from about 30 seconds in. That coaster, while very well designed, is very, very intense.
It is.
There are G-forces hitting you in the face. You are not full 360 degrees spinning, but you are your car turns. There are screens to try and focus on. There's sensory overload from the audio. There's just a lot going on for people with motion sickness, and I did not throw up, thankfully, but a lot of guests are, and it kind of ruined the rest of our night, including dinner at Topolino's Terrace. So while I'm glad I got the chance to ride it, I will not be riding it again. Had I ridden it first, I would have told Zach that no, there was no way you could ride this roller coaster. We were going off of suggestions from other people who rode it that said that, it's very smooth. It is. It's very smooth. It's fairly gentle. It's fairly gentle. There's no upside downs or crazy things like that. But the way that the coaster works with the spinning of the coaster, and spinning is the wrong word because that makes you think like, one of those crazy spin things. It's a show coaster. So your car pivots to keep you pointed at things they want you to watch that are part of the story. Part of that process, though, has you sometimes going backwards, sometimes going sideways, and sometimes going forward in the dark where you don't necessarily realize that that's what's happening. And so it really plays with your inner ear a lot. And I would say anyone who has a problem, I don't have problems on roller coasters. I've never had problems on roller coasters. And I, at several points in Guardians, felt queasy. And so if it was affecting me, I'm sure it was affecting Zach way worse. Yeah. So if you follow us on Twitter at all, you've seen the picture I posted, our on-ride photo, and I've got my head down, and it's literally just me trying to control my breathing. Aside from that, though, it's a great coaster. You guys are gonna love it. The queue is amazing. The pre-show is amazing. The post-show is fun. Everything about the ride is amazing. Yeah. But the ride itself is just. I think it's far too intense for people who suffer from motion sickness, and that sucks. Yeah. All right. There you go. That's what's happening at Disney this week. Next week, we're going to be, as we mentioned before, we're going to be on a cruise ship. So we will put out a podcast. It may be a video podcast, may just be audio only. So if you normally watch us on YouTube, then make sure you check out our audio channels next week. The
audio feeds, which you can find us anywhere that good podcasts are served. So Apple iTunes, Google Podcast, Spotify, Amazon, TuneIn Radio, anywhere that you find a podcast, you can find us.
And if you like what we do, leave us comments, leave us emails, rate us on the various podcast platforms. Leave us thumbs up on YouTube. Any sort of engagement helps tell the algorithms that you like us and you want us to be seen and heard by more people.
And if you don't like us, if there's things that we do that really annoy you, then let us know. And that's
if I really am just staring into the camera dead-eyed, call me out on it.
There you go. All right. All we would ask that you do, really, is to... No, I can't say that because grammatically that wouldn't be right. All we're really asking is that you don't do Disney
without us.